In bikini, you don't want any standout body parts. You want everything nice and even, which I think a lot of people get the wrong idea because, you know, we're in the 2020s here. It's the booty decade, right? As we were just talking. You know why I did that? Because I was like, this is absurd. This is an absurd show. Like, who can ever say they went to Kazakhstan to compete? That's wild. And I was like, shoot, I'll say that. The superstars you see today, they're not the ones that right out the gate were just like killing it. Like, first show, win, 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 win. And guess what? In bikini, we all have one thing in common. Every single Olympia champion has one thing in common. We've all lost. No one is undefeated, not one person. And that means we've all had to experience the feeling of a loss, the feeling of making mistakes, of messing up our prep or whatever the case may be. But in the beginning, you'll find a lot more mistakes. So just know that you just got to learn from those mistakes, take the judge's feedback, study, do your research, and get better for next time. But I will say, on the opposite end of it, I have seen girls do worse if they did get implants and they were too big. Yeah. That you can't hide.
Yeah, people often refer to you as the GOAT of bikini, the greatest of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally prefer cockroach. I was calling myself the cockroach for a long time. So the cockroach is a very resilient creature. It's a pest. They invade. You can't get rid of them.
Right, what is happening, my peeps? We're doing a very special podcast today with the one and only 3 times Miss Olympia, Ashley Kaltwasser. Did I say it correctly?
Kaltwasser, close enough.
Excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get offended. I wouldn't be able to pronounce my name. I really wouldn't if I didn't know it.
And we also have the beautiful Lauren Lutter in the building as well.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today, Andreas. It's such an honor to be here with you and Ashley and podcasting today.
Thank you both for coming as well. So is that name, is it German?
Yeah, good guess. It means cold water.
Cold water?
Yeah.
I don't know anything German.
Dude, I don't either. I just know 2 words. It's cold and water. It's crazy. That's the only 2 words I know.
And you're from, it's Ohio in America,
yes,
isn't it?
Akron, Ohio. Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that name is like from like a grandparent or something that originally was from Germany? Or?
Yeah, probably a few generations ago or something. Yeah. I'm sure, yeah.
You've never bothered to trace it back or anything like that?
I mean, I can pretty much assume. I do need to take a look at it one day, just out of curiosity. But
we need to know where them genetics came from,
yeah,
right?
I know, right?
That's what we should get you for Christmas, one of those heritage tests, those gene tests.
Yeah,
I did get one of those. Yeah, I guess I'm German, obviously, and Scandinavian, and that's about it. Nothing too exciting.
That's pretty exciting.
So, Ashley, you've just recently won your 50th IFBB Pro win, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about your start of your journey and how you got to the 50th Pro win and how you won 3 Miss O titles.
Well, I'll say I'm surprised I made it this far. Considering when I first turned pro, my goal was to win just 1 pro show, just 1, to make it to Olympia. And I thought that would like be the pinnacle of my career. I thought that would be like, that's as best as I can do. If I can just scoop up 1. Little did I know I could have done that and then 50 times more. So it's crazy to think. And I will say to hit that number in particular means a lot to me. You know, it's one thing to meet your goal, but to exceed it is so much more amazing.
You have definitely exceeded many goals there over and over again. Yes. You've absolutely killed it. People often refer to you as the GOAT of bikini, the greatest of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally prefer cockroach. I was calling myself the cockroach for a long time. So the cockroach is a very resilient creature. It's a pest. They invade. You can't get rid of them. Okay.
That's true.
So when people, I would say, you know what, you can call me a goat, but I'll call myself a cockroach. But I did say, if I hit 50 wins, I can upgrade to a tardigrade.
A what?
A tardigrade. Do you know what a tardigrade is?
I have no idea what that is. Tell me, please.
The tardigrade is the most resilient creature
More than a
Earth.
cockroach.
Oh, okay. Yes. They're like microscopic. They can survive space. They can survive a lot of things. And
is that like an insect as well?
It's like a little small, they're also called water bears, but they're very small, you have to see them in a microscope. I'm tardigrade now. So you can call me a goat, sure, but I'll call myself retardigrade. There's like levels.
Yeah.
There's levels to this.
What are you gonna call yourself when you get to like the next goal?
I don't know. I'll have to think of something. I don't know what else is better than tardigrade though.
Space tardigrade.
They're getting smaller though, right? A cockroach and then a tardigrade. Yeah. What's next? I don't know.
Good question. We'll see when I get there.
So how was the show over the weekend in Kazakhstan?
It was really good. Really great experience. The only thing that wasn't so good was my body was not vibing with the time zone out there. And I was sleeping, kid you not, 3 hours average a night for a week straight. And some nights I just wouldn't sleep at all. Like it just really messed with my circadian rhythm. The time zone out there was an exact flip of the Vegas time. So like 1 a.m. Kazakhstan time would be 1 p.m. The day before Vegas time. And for whatever reason, that time zone was not working for my body. And it's funny because it's like I'd go to like Japan and all these other countries and I had no problem adjusting time zone. But for some reason, when I go to the East, it's really hard on my body. But that's really far East. It was a lot, but I made it through.
I've got a little trick for when you're having trouble sort of like getting in, you know, grounding your circadian room. Take your shoes off, socks off, and put them on the ground. You know, it has to be the ground. It can't be tarmac, cement. It has to be Mother Nature's ground. And what that does is it grounds you and it will actually help with the jet lag.
Wow, that's...
Yeah,
well,
try it. It's
I'm
very
a
basic,
little skeptical on that, but hey, it's worth a try. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, so I got some funky questions for you to start with.
Sure.
Right, one of them, my missus actually wants me to ask you this.
Okay.
Can women compete successfully in bikini without breast implants?
Yes, absolutely. And there are competitors without them that do really well. It's not as big of a focus as people think. Of course, with the physique, you want an overall balance. And if something's out of proportion, it stands out. But there's a lot of ways you can kind of cheat it, like pillow stuffing and padding and things like that. You can kind of, you know, make it even out. But I will say, on the opposite end of it, I have seen girls do worse if they did get implants and they were too big.
Yeah.
That you can't hide, and that will throw off.
We've all seen that.
Yes. So I would say if it were me, I would much rather be flat chested than overdo it, because once you overdo it, you can't hide it. You can't. You can always cheat it to make it look bigger, but you can't make it look smaller.
I am definitely an arse man, not a breast man. So
you know,
flat chest doesn't bother me.
You know, hey, this. We're beyond the days of Pamela Anderson, so booties are in. Yeah. The good thing about booties is you can build it, so there's hope for all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
So
if anyone's like starting out in their bikini career, what is the best sort of advice you can give them to, you know, that first competition on the stage?
Allow yourself some grace. In the beginning, especially, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Listen, I make mistakes now, and I've competed a lot. But in the beginning, you're going to make a lot more mistakes. And it's important to kind of give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of wiggle room, because you got a lot of learning to do, a lot of figuring out to do. It's very rare someone goes into their first show and nails everything, right? Posing, tan hair, makeup, physique. That's so rare. Almost impossible, I would say. So just allow yourself some time to kind of figure things out. And just know that just because you weren't successful in the beginning, your first few shows, doesn't mean you're going to be a successful competitor further down the road, right? The superstars you see today, they're not the ones that right out the gate were just like killing it. Like first show, win, 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 win. And guess what? In bikini, we all have one thing in common. Every single Olympia champion has one thing in common. We've all lost. No one is undefeated, not one person. And that means we've all had to experience the feeling of a loss, the feeling of making mistakes, of messing up our prep or whatever the case may be. But in the beginning, you'll find a lot more mistakes. So just know that you just got to learn from those mistakes, take the judge's feedback, study, do your research, and get better for next time.
that is, after all, like the beauty of bodybuilding. I always like to say it. It's like a never-ending journey, learning process, isn't it?
Yes.
A never-ending journey where you can never be perfect, and that's the beauty of it. You're always striving to get perfect, but you can never actually reach perfection. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and that's something even to this day I kind of have to like talk myself down sometimes, because I can take any show, even if I got like a perfect score. I will sometimes pick myself apart, like, oh my God, what was I thinking with this or that? Or why did my hair look like this? I'm so stupid. Why'd I do that? But then I have to stop myself and be like, you know what? There is no such thing as a perfect show. Nothing. Like, even when I was winning the Olympias and stuff with a perfect score, there's something I could have done better, or made a flaw or small mistake, whether it be posing, tan hair, makeup, physique. Something small. So I've come to learn that there is no such thing as perfection. So on show day, there's one thing at least that you're going to kind of regret or think you can do better. But it's chasing perfection is kind of pointless. You just got to do your best with what you got.
That's really beautiful. I think like one of the things that people look up to you with is like you're not necessarily chasing perfection, but you've always been so consistent as well. And it's how do you keep and how do you maintain that consistency?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I will say, like, I'm very passionate about the sport, so I do study. And I try to be smart about things and how to plan my shows and things like that. But I think just over time and through my experience has allowed me to be a little more consistent, because I've known my body and, I know how to prep it and what works for it and what doesn't. So I do think that helps a lot.
So out of all the components to, competing on stage, especially in the bikini class, because there's a lot of components to it, right? What would you say is the one main thing, if you had to choose one of them, that you should concentrate on the most?
That's a good question again. Oh my God, you're coming with the zingers today. Because I think like in bikini, of course, the physique is the most important, but unlike maybe other divisions, other things weigh heavily as well, such as tanning hair, makeup, stuff like that. Like if your hair and makeup's off, you might get marked down for it. I would say if there was anything, since it is a bodybuilding sport, physique would probably take the most importance.
Yeah. I've actually judged a couple of shows before, and I found judging the bikini class was the most difficult one.
Yeah.
I even had they gave me like a sort of like scoring chart thing, what to look out for and whatever. And I was still like, what the fuck am I looking out for right now? I don't know. It's like, what do you pick? Just the sort of prettiest looking one? Because they were all in nice condition. They were, it's like really difficult. So what do you think the judges are looking for the most?
Well, I would say just like an overall balanced physique, in bikini, you don't want any standout body parts. You want everything nice and even, which I think a lot of people get the wrong idea because, we're in the 2020s here. It's the booty decade, right? As we were just talking.
Wellness just seemed to explode out of nowhere, didn't it? Yeah.
And that's a good point, because bikini isn't wellness. And I find that a lot of bikini girls are like, oh, glutes, 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 glutes. And it's like, nope, it's got to be balance. Balance, balance, balance. You don't want anything that's like overpowering anything else. So at the end of the day, balance and tone, I think,
keeping it all in proportion.
Yes. And of course, there's what I like to call deal breakers in bikini too. You don't want striations. You don't want to be vascular. You don't want to be overly developed. You don't want to be stringy. So those are some things that like you see and you're just like, oh, we can't have that for bikini. So,
but isn't it incredible? Like you've done this since 2013 and you've seen it develop, and all of the criteria. And how do you feel like it's developed as you've been competing?
Yeah, it's definitely not the same bikini 10 years ago. I will say that it's definitely evolved since then. I don't want to say changed, because it's not that the actual standards have changed. It's more that the talent pool has become deeper, and it's still a relatively new division too, and people don't realize that. So I do think it's hit the limit of how much muscle is like. Basically, they don't want any more muscle than what is currently in bikini now. But if you take a look like 10 years ago, we were much smaller. I mean, I'm the first one to say this. My physiques that won in 2013, 14, and 15, those physiques wouldn't even qualify for the Olympia this year. It wouldn't. I'm well aware of that. Just because it's just gotten so much tougher, and just as every division does, it gets more competitive. And I think one of the biggest reasons of that is, 10 years ago, if you take a look at the Olympia list, it was probably like 90% from USA. Now it's like maybe over half from other countries, I want to say. And it's just expanded. It's, the worldwide, NBC worldwide has taken over. So that's opened the door for other opportunities for girls from other countries to compete, and they're good, So that talent pool gets deeper. The whole competition gets tougher.
Right.
I was literally just about to ask you about that, the competitiveness. Like, you've obviously won it in 13, 14 and 15, and this year you absolutely smashed it, second place. Do you feel it was more competitive back then, but I think you've just answered
Oh,
that.
yeah. 100% more competitive now. 100%. 100%.
How did it feel this year?
Incredible. I surprised myself again. I'm like really happy about it. Yeah. It's like one of those pleasant surprises. I don't go into any competition with specific number expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised.
It sounds like to me you just enjoy the process, and everything else is just a distant second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to be there. I always say this, like, I've won 3 Olympias. I promised myself, I was like, you know what? I can never complain about anything else. So any success I have after these 3 Olympias is just icing on the cake. And every year I end up surprising myself, like, how'd I do that again? How'd I do that again? The last 3 years, I got 3rd place at the Olympia. And even then I'm like, each time I got 3rd, I'm like, how am I still in the mix? How do I keep doing this? And then this year I got 2nd, and I'm like, how am I close to being where I was 10 years ago? That's crazy.
We need you to hurry up and do that ancestry test and find out where these genetics are coming from, Ashley. Come on. Yeah, 3 Miss O's is incredible. But I have to tell you, you're not the only Olympia to medal winner, Sandow Trophy winner. Actually, they don't give them for the bikini class, do they? But you're not the only Olympia winner to sit in that chair. We had Dorian Yates sitting there. It was about 2 months ago. 6 times Mr. Olympia.
Oh, yeah.
We've had some real champions.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
It's been absolutely amazing to see your journey, especially as you've come up, and like just going back into that mixed part. You're the OG of bikini. When bikini came out in 2010, it was like, okay, what is bikini? And then you've really pioneered the sport in the category for me. And from what I've seen personally watching your journey since 2013, because Ashley is literally OG bikini.
Oh, thank
There's no
you.
stopping Ashley.
You've defined and set the bar. That's, I think, undisputed.
Oh, it means a lot. Thank you.
You killed it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, we can't wait to see what you do next.
It's going to be
What
a
are you
good year
going to
next
do
year.
next?
Well, I might be done for the season. We'll see. I was actually planning on doing Romania Muscle Fest, but after jet lag kicked in and I felt like a little sick, I'm like, there's no way we can't do this. So I might be done with the season, but maybe not. I was going to see how I feel when I get home, and kind of go from there. But I will say next year, I won't do as many competitions. This year was a little bit of a crazy year because I just wanted to hit that goal of 50. So I was just whatever show was available that made sense for my schedule and I could do, I kind of did, but next year I'll be a little more conservative with my show choices and I won't do as many. And I don't think I'll do the Arnold either, just to allow myself a little bit of an off season, because I think I'm going to hit the Europe scene again in the summer. So I might start with that, but more information about that coming soon. So you might see me back out here.
What I was going to ask you as well, what's your favorite show that you've competed in?
I love those Japan shows.
The Japan
so
show.
I want to say the Japan Pro. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. You've really been everywhere, though. I honestly had no idea that Kazakhstan had pro shows over there. That was a shock to me.
You know why I did that? Because I was like, this is absurd. This is an absurd show. Like who can ever say they went to Kazakhstan to compete? That's wild. And I was like, shoot, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I have a slogan. It's do all the crazy things. Do all the crazy things while you still can. You only have one life. Go for it.
That's great. You need to put that on a t-shirt along with just getting started.
Just getting started. Do all the crazy things. That's right.
At the end, I'm going to ask you to repeat that again. Because at the end of every podcast, I always ask everyone for their slogan and everything.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So this is actually the first, believe it or not, the first bodybuilding podcast I've done.
Really?
Yeah, I mainly concentrate on politics. I don't want to press any raw buttons now, but Kamala or Trump?
Trump.
Yeah, I'm definitely. If I had to pick between the two,
Yeah, too bad you can't vote, right? Not in the USA anyway. So
did you get? I think it's today, isn't it? The election day. So did you do? How is it over there? Is it like a electronic vote process, or do you need to be there?
There are different ways to do it: mail-ins and in-person things like that.
So have you voted? You did, yeah. How did you do it? Was it electronic voting or?
Because I can't. I'm not there, right?
Yeah. It's the same over here. We've got two methods. I think, you can do it in person or mail-in or proxy or something like that. I didn't know how it was in America. So,
yeah, we have different ways.
Right, I'm very conscious of the time now. I would have loved to have carried this on for at least another hour, but we have loads of women waiting outside to start this posing seminar. So one thing I do at the end of every podcast, is I ask you to give us your slogan or some words of inspiration or a sentence, a paragraph, anything you want to say.
Sure. Just like I said, do all the crazy things while you still can. And I will also add on to that is, in order to be great, you have to do things that other people are not willing to do. And I think pretty good example of that. I'm out here doing what no one wants to do, going to Kazakhstan. Because I want to be great. I want to be legendary. So I'm going to go above and beyond, and I'm going to do whatever you do, I'm going to do it twice as much.
You already are legendary, Ashley. Well done.
Thank you.
You killed it. And one last thing I get everyone to do on my podcast is I have a little bit of a slogan myself, and it is I go like this. Lauren might have heard it before. Everyone said it before. I go, hey, come on. You got to give me your A, come on.
Hey, come on.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ashley. Yes. And thank you, Lauren. Is there anything else you wanted to drop before we finish?
Well, I just want to say, Ashley, you're such an inspiration, and not just to me, but to a lot of other female competitors and aspiring competitors. And I hope that anyone that watches this, you take it home and you can just, can use it for your own journey, and look up to the OG Bikini. Because this lady right here, you're the reason that I'm here. And I know that a lot of other people would be here watching this. So it's going to be absolutely amazing to see what you do. I cannot wait. And I'm ever so grateful to have your trust.
You got the t-shirt. Yes.
I'm ever so grateful. And I just cannot wait to see what you do next.
Oh, well, thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, ladies.